fellow Hetalians, and welcome to the 4th annual Hetalia Shipping Awards. I am your host, Kalko, and tonight we will be going through this year's most fabulous ships, flexing on other fandoms and showing that we can have events like this without exploding into shipping wars. This has been a very eventful year in Hetalia shipping. Therefore, this year should be especially interesting. We have a lot of awards to go through tonight, and many new categories as well. With that, let's waste no more time and get to the shipping awards. But before I begin, let us remember not to bash each other's ships, and keep the comments friendly. It is time to show the world that we can have an event like this and still be peaceful about it. Anyways, let's get to the first event tonight. Before we get into any shipping, it's time to announce 2023's Harem King and Queen. This is where we analyze all the ships nominated and determine who has the most ships. A special thanks to Holly Snow for helping tally all of these. I could not have done it without her. So with that, let's determine who is the most loved character. Literally. First, with the queens. Last year we had another Amabel dynasty. Who will reign the shipping kingdom this year? Verbal commendation goes to Liechtenstein, Ukraine, Belgium, and Vietnam, who all tied. In third place we have Belarus. In second place, Hungary. And the winner of Harem Queen Award 2023 is Seychelles! What a shocking turn of events! Seychelles has not once stepped on this podium, and now she's in first place. And now, my fellow Italians, our Harem King. Verbal commendation goes to England and France. Yes, they both tied. In third place, we have Russia. In second place, Prussia. And winner of Harem King Award is America! For the third year, America takes home his crown. Before we get into the actual shipping awards for tonight, I have an important announcement. Or rather, a word from our sponsor. I am partnering with a friend of mine who is making another documentary about Ukraine. Last time he went to Bucha and did a documentary on that, and he was supposed to go to Bakhmut, but unfortunately his guide was Peter Reed. So now he is currently there, and I believe he is going to Kherson. I am proud to be working on such a wonderful documentary. We really hope to make a change in policy with this documentary, and really hope to continue the further support of Ukraine. Therefore, it would mean the world to us if we were able to pay those who helped us contribute. We have a GoFundMe for this documentary, and it would really mean a lot. Even if it's just a few dollars, it makes all the difference. With all the misinformation out there, and everybody being very misguided to the point where it may actually stall Ukraine's progress, it is very important that we get these stories told, and that these survivors have an ability to tell their story to the world, who desperately needs to hear it. I have linked to the GoFundMe in the description below. Anything that you contribute helps a lot. And now, my fellow Italians, let's get back to the awards. But before I begin, I want to say that if your ship doesn't make it or doesn't win, don't feel too bad. I will give as many honorable mentions as I can at the beginning of each category. So here is how the awards will work. There will be 3 places and a verbal commendation, which is basically 4th place because I like things in 4s. Also, while your votes were crucial in this, the decision is still ours to make. Each ship can only win 1 award. So just because a ship won the most votes does not mean it will automatically win the award. This is to keep the popular ships from taking over the entire awards. Now with that, let the Hetalia Shipping Awards of 2023 begin! First, let us get to the awards that are quantitative in nature and do not factor into the final account. These are not based on what were voted on and are purely based off of statistics. Therefore, they aren't going to contribute into the final count of awards, and the ships that win these awards can go on to win another category. First, let us start off with the classic, the Fanfiction Award. This is the award given to the ship with the most fanfictions across AO3, fanfiction.net, and Wattpad throughout the past year. So, who will be in the fanfiction fan faves this year? Verbal commendation goes to Rochu. In third place, we have Rusame. In second place, Fruck. And the winner of 2023's Fanfiction Award is, to absolutely nobody's shock and surprise, US-UK. The US-UK shippers are still writing boatloads of fanfiction and nobody can stop them. For the fourth year in a row, they take home the fanfiction crown. Now it is time for the trendiest ship. I thought the Fanfiction Award was lonely up here, being the only award that doesn't count in future awards, so I went to Google, researched the most searched ships, and this was the results. And now, my fellow Hetalians, who will be the most Googled ship? Verbal commendation goes to Spamano. In third place, we have Rusame. In second place, Rochu. And the winner of the most trendiest Hetalia ship is Jurita. Congratulations, Jurita. You are the most Googled ship. Now to the awards that do count towards the final count. From this point forward, each ship can only win one award. Let us start with the classic fan favorite. This was the favorite ship of the year. What the people said their favorite ship was out of all. Rochu won last year in their first win ever. So who will be the fan favorite this year? Verbal commendation goes to Ameripan. In third place we have Jurita. In second place, Fruck. And the winner of fan favorite for 2023 is US-UK! This absolutely was a cutthroat battle for US-UK and Fruck, so let's all give a round of applause for them both. They both put in a good effort. And now it is time for the most popular award. This ship took all the votes from across all the categories and added them together to determine the most voted on ship. US-UK and Fruck are normally in a battle for this award, but last year Ameripan surprised everyone and upset the balance. Will US-UK and Fruck resume their battle? Or will there be another usurper? Let's find out. And a big thanks to Holly Snow again for tallying all of these. She was such a huge help, so let's give her a round of applause. Let's see who came out on top this time. Verbal commendation goes to Aushun. In third place, we have Ameripan. In second place, Jurita. And winner of the most popular ship goes to Fruck. Fruck has regained their title since the first ever ship award as the most popular ship. I'm sure they will enjoy sitting on that throne again. I decided to switch things up a little bit, and I'm going to go through the most underrated ship this time. I changed the definition of this category this year to any ship that you found didn't get enough love. Americana won last year, but normally this changes every year, so who will take home the gold this year? Verbal commendation goes to Estfin. In third place we have last year's ship of the year, Ameliet. In second place, Prumano. And winner of most underrated for 2023 is Itapan! Congratulations, you two! A new award for this year is Best Rare Pair. Since the underrated and skiff awards weren't enough for everybody, we need more rare pair representation. Now, The best rare pair, I determined, is a ship that has between 10 and 100 fanfictions of archive of our own. Now, which one of these rarities will get their chance in the spotlight that they truly deserve? Verbal commendation goes to Mulseb, or Molossia and Seborga. In third place, we have Romechew. In second place, Kimchi Burger. And the winner of Best Rare Pair goes to Americrane. Wow, quite a surprise actually. You know what? I think they deserve it. Let's give them another round of applause. A skiff is another word for a tiny boat. I invented this award for the ship that is very, very small, but really deserves attention. Many small skiffs have grown to become full-fledged ships after these shipping awards, so this award can be a very big deal. This is a ship that has 10 or less fanfictions on AO3. The chocolate pair won last year, but who will become the small beloved dinghy of this year? Verbal commendation goes to Ned Swiss, also known as the money pair, also known as Sweatherland. In third place we have Hutseb. In second place, Kansei. And the winner, by a lot of points, for the Skip Award is Tutem. I'm honestly surprised they actually fit in here. Nevertheless, I'm happy they actually won an award this year. Now it is time for the most universally shipped. For this award, I asked you to check off all the ships that you ship on one big poll. This is basically to determine the ship that everyone can pretty much agree on. And now, my fellow Hetalians, the results. Verbal commendation goes to Lietpol. In third place, we have Sufin. In second place, Fruck. And the winner of the most universally shipped is, again, Jurita. It's the most basic ship Hetalia has. And now it is time for the Fluffiest Ship Award. These are ships that are just so wholesome and so adorable that you just love watching these two interact. Will Sufin win this award again? Or will there be another King of Fluff? Let us find out. Verbal commendation goes to Ameliet. In third place we have Ameripan. In second place, Jurita. And winner of the Fluffiest Ship Award is Sufin. They did it again. Sufin is again the wholesome hegemon. And now it is time to move on to the best hetero ship, because say it with me, guys, this fandom is so gay, we have to have a separate category for this. Last year, Aushun's Habsburg dynasty was overthrown by Prahun, but rumor has it that Czechoslovakia is also encroaching on Aushun as a favorite hetero pair, especially since their Ship of the Year win 2 years ago. Can Aushun regain their title? Will Prahun keep their crown? Will Czechoslovakia pass them both? Will Litzbel come in out of nowhere and win? Only in my dreams. Verbal commendation goes to Ukrainida, also known as Canada and Ukraine. Yes, I believe that is a better ship name than Can-Uker. Fight me. In third place we have Prahun. In second place, Czechoslovakia. And a winner of the best hetero ship of 2023 is Aushun. They have reclaimed their thrones after losing it for 1 year. Congratulations! Now it is time for the best lesbian ship, because this entire series is way too much of a sausage fest. Will Tai Viet hold on to their crown for a 4th year in a row? I personally think it's very likely. Verbal commendation goes to Belhun, also known as Belgium and Hungary. In third place we have Hun Crane. In second place, Czech Hun. And the winner of the best lesbian ship is Tyviot once again for the 4th year in a row. There's just no stopping them. They're just the unstoppable lesbians. And now it is time for the best historical ship. This is a ship that may not make too much sense in the series, but outside of the series, the fan fictions just seem to write themselves, because they're all using history books as references. For anyone who wanted Hema to make a comic on a certain part of history, most of the time, it's so that this ship can get some love. Czechoslovakia may have won last year, but which ship will go down in history tonight? Verbal commendation goes to Aushun. In 3rd place we have Lietpol. In 2nd place, Fruck. And winner of Best Historical Ship goes to Ingport! Congratulations! For so many years you have fought to win an award, and now you finally did it. Congratulations! Back by popular demand, the Opposites Attract Award involves 2 characters that, personality-wise, are complete opposites, but they just fit together. Den Nor won last year, but can they win it again? Verbal commendation goes to Fruck. In 3rd place we have Den Nor. In 2nd place, Jurita. And winner of the Opposite Attracts Award is Ameripan. This one's not really as surprising, but it doesn't have to be surprising to be satisfying. A new category this year is Best New Ship. This is a ship that either contains characters that came out in the past 2 years, or a ship whose first fanfiction was written this last year. Who will be the most wholesome newcomer to the shipping scene? Verbal commendation goes to Prussia and Egypt. In 3rd place we have Ice Indo. In 2nd place, Philamerica. And winner of Best New Ship goes to Indopeens. Congratulations! The Guilty Pleasure Award kind of replaces the most controversial award, in a way that makes it more positive. This is a ship that you may be either a little shy to say you ship it, something you probably wouldn't admit you ship online but secretly love the fanfictions, or maybe you're just a distant admirer of this ship. According to the polls you voted in, most of you are absolutely shameless and do not care if you get hate for the ship that you ship. And I'm glad the fandom feels that way. But there still are a lot of rather interesting results. So let's figure out your shipping guilty pleasure. Verbal commendation goes to Rusame. In 3rd place we have US-UK. In 2nd place, Fruck. I bet you they're all just US-UK and Fruck shippers secretly admitting that they also ship the other ship. And winner of the Guilty Pleasure Award is Spamano! Finally, after 4 years, Spamano finally wins an award. Congratulations! You are no longer the Leonardo DiCaprio of ships. Last year I entertained the idea of doing more shipping awards for other fandoms, and I think I'm going to entertain that idea further. I think I'm also going to entertain that idea for fandoms I'm not even in, like Genshin Impact, because who better to judge shipping awards than somebody who isn't even in the fandom? Therefore, I will have no bias. Therefore, I am opening my comment section to those who want to suggest I do other shipping awards, because I love putting on these awards so much. And I'm kind of sad that they only get to come once a year. So let me know your suggestions in the comment section below. But tonight is not about other fandoms. Tonight is about Hetalia. So let us get back to the Hetalia Shipping Awards of 2023. The best fan in pair is a ship that involves a character that has not yet been made, telling us not only the best fan in ship, but also the most anticipated character. And now time to find out which shippers are going to go home tonight and then silently be sad that their characters are not yet canon. Let's find that out tonight! Since these characters are not yet made, I decided to use Country Ball's fan art instead of Hetalia fan art so that you can still at least have an image to look at. Verbal commendation goes to Israel. In third place, we have Armis, or Armenia and Greece. In second place, Rus Serb, Russia and Serbia. And the winner of Best Fan in Pair goes to Brarg, also known as Brazil and Argentina. Congratulations on your win, South American fandom. You win this entire award. The Best OT3 is also known as the Best Love Triangle. A trio that produces such lovely tea and such lovely dynamics that you just love to see them together. Can Frying Pan Eagle take home their 4th win? Probably. Verbal commendation goes to Fluffiest. In third place we have Juritapan. In second place, the Bad Touch Trio. And the one to take home the gold for Best OT3 is, to absolutely no one's shock, the Frying Pan Angle. They're a trio as old as time, man. You just can't beat them. The Best Bro TP is an award that reminds us that it's okay if two characters are just friends. It's an award that celebrates platonic relationships. Itapan won last year, but who will be the best of bros this year? Verbal commendation goes to America and Canada. In third place we have Estfin. In second place, the German Brothers. And winner of Best Bro TP is Cuba and Canada. They're back to being the king of bros. Congratulations. The Best Rivalry Ship. The classic enemies to lovers category. Verbal commendation goes to Rohan. In third place we have Rusame. In second place, Frock. And winner of Best Rivalry Ship of 2023 is Pruhan. Wow, this is actually quite a shock. Congratulations, you two. The Best Neotalia ship is a ship with either one or both characters being Neotalia. Because sometimes a ship just works better in an alternate universe. Now who will be Miss Alternate Universe? Verbal commendation goes to Neotalia America and Japan. In third place we have Neo Aushun. In second place, Neotalia Germany and Venetiano. And the winner of Best Neotalia Ship goes to Neotalia Lietpol. They did it again. Congratulations. Enjoy that second gold. The Aesthetic Award. This ship may not be your favorite. Heck, you may not even like it. But you know what? Their fan art looks so beautiful. The ship doesn't even have to make sense. It's just so pretty that you can't help but admire it. Rusame won last year, but can they keep their eye candy crown? We shall see. Verbal commendation goes to US-UK. In third place we have Jurita. In second place, Ameripan. And the winner of the Aesthetic Award, Rusame. For the second year in a row, Rusame is the prettiest ship. Now it is time for the most fun awards of the evening. Best Crack Ship and Best Meme Ship. A lot of people were confused on which goes where, so I had to do a lot of sorting. So now you have no idea who wins what. Let's start with Crack Ship. This was a pairing between any two Hetalia characters that just doesn't really seem to make sense or is mostly just paired for the lulz. Last year we had a shocking victory with OMG I'm an Africa guy and I need a belt buckle man. Who will be the most nonsensical yet understandable ship? Verbal commendation goes to the identical flag pair, also known as Monaco and Indonesia. In third place we have the Money Pair, also known as Netherlands x Switzerland. also known as Switzerland. In second place, OMG, I'm in Africa, guy, and I need a belt buckle, man. And the winner of Best Crack Ship is Gun-Loving Maniacs, also known as Ame Swiss. Honestly, I'm quite satisfied with this one. Big special congratulations to Switzerland for winning about half of the Crack Ship awards. The Best Meme Ship has a long list of honorable mentions. The Best Meme Ship involves a ship between a Hetalia character and anything. Literally anything. It could be another character from another franchise, it could be an animate object, it can be an obscure concept. Just like last year's winner, Lithuania X Therapy. Who will be the highlight of our night tonight? It is time to announce the Best Meme Ship. Verbal commendation goes to A Man Has Fallen for a Man in Lego City, also known as Denmark X Lego City Man. In third place we have Iceland X Fridge. In second place, Romano X Daddy Issues. And the winner of the Best Meme Ship of 2023 by a landslide is Grumano, or Gru from Despicable Me and Romano. This fandom, this Grumano fandom, went across several different awards and came out from everywhere just to vote for this. And now, my fellow Italians, what you've all have been waiting for. Ship of the Year. This is a ship that may not just be your favorite, but it's a ship that really spoke to you this year. A ship that really stood out among the others this entire year. Or a ship that you believe needs the recognition that it deserves. Maybe something new and revolutionary happened in the anime or manga. Maybe it ignited a really unique part of the fandom. Maybe it made a comeback after years of being absolutely quiet. We've had 30 nominations this year, and I realize how much of an impact these awards have on certain ships. After the past few shipping awards, I noticed that the Ship of the Year awards had an explosion in popularity. This is why this last award is so important. Ship of the Year isn't just an acknowledgement, but a chance for a ship to grow in popularity and get the recognition that it deserves. Ameripan, Czechoslovakia, Ameliat. Who will join these ships in the Hetalia Shipping Hall of Fame? We will find out right now. Verbal commendation goes to an old ship, a classic ship that for a brief period of time was forgotten over here in the West. Ladies and gentlemen, our verbal commendation goes to Rochu. In third place, we have a ship that used to be huge and was often ridiculed back in the day because everyone saw it as a crack ship since the two had never interacted with each other in canon. And then they did. And then we saw the potential that this could hold. But this ship spawned hope for those who loved ships that were constantly being called not canon or pure crack. Ladies and gentlemen, third place goes to Hong Ice. For second place, to be honest, I never expected this ship to be up here. I did not know that it would be this popular. I didn't know how passionate people were over this ship. I actually had to look up this ship to see where it actually came from. And I bet a lot of you are probably going to look it up after this too, and probably start shipping it. It's a ship that became popular in the new fandom due to the World Stars comics. And looking at these comics, I really see where the ship came from. This nomination actually got me to like this ship a little. Runner-up for Ship of the Year, deservedly, goes to Prumano. And now, my fellow Italians, what you all have been waiting for. Hitalia's Ship of the Year for 2023 is... This is a ship that everyone probably saw coming. This ship had a lot of developments this year, which set the fandom in an uproar of jubilation. This ship that originally had some vague meat and was originally seen as a proximity ship, turned into something that everyone loved. First, slowly over the years, and then this year, it just exploded. This ship has never won gold before. It got third place for Ship of the Year one year, but that was pretty much it. This seems to be a third place ship, but tonight will change all of that. After recent comic development, this ship's popularity seems to have skyrocketed. I even started shipping it after what happened this year. This ship was nominated for Ship of the Year 22 times. That is twice as much as the other most nominated ship. That's more nominations than any ship has ever received in the history of the shipping awards. You all probably expected this one to win, and while it isn't as climactic, at least everyone will go home happy. My fellow Hetalians, the winner of Ship of the Year for Hetalia's 2023 Shipping Awards is Roble. Congratulations! You are Hetalia's Ship of the Year for 2023! What an amazing year of shipping. I greatly thank you for joining me in tonight's awards. Have a wonderful evening, afternoon, wherever you are. I am your host, Kalko, and until then, keep on studying.